Hello, welcome everyone to my channel. This is Western Technology. Okay, so um, this is the series of C programming. Hope you guys stay put because we're gonna be exploding as much. Without wasting much time, we are gonna be doing a brief introduction on C programming. So here's a brief introduction on C programming. So if you've watched my earlier video, we have talked about the pre-processing. I give a detailed explanation about the pre-processing, assembling, compiling, and linking. So in this video, we're gonna be entering inside the main C program. So we're gonna be writing some codes, and we're gonna explain what each code stands for. So let's get started. Let's start with let me check what I have here. Okay, so I'm gonna create a new folder. So creating a new folder, mkdir. So I'll call the folder tutorials. So after calling it tutorials, on the next thing I'll hit enter. Then I'll cd inside that tutorial. Okay. So entering inside the folder I have created. So I think I should split my screen into two so that you see what I'm having. So let me open it so you see what is going on. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna create a file. Let me clear that. So inside this tutorial, I'm gonna create a file. I'm gonna name that file main.c. So I'm gonna use vim. I'm opening that file with vim. So main.c. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna hit enter. So this is main.c. So now inside this main.c, we are gonna be writing codes, but I'm gonna save this and quit. So I want you to see what we have here. So I'm going to open the main.c. So you see it's going to come up, and this where we are. So I switch this, and we have this here. Good. So actually it opens the main.c, and I don't want to do that. So I'm coming over here. I'm gonna open that myself. But let me see if I can open it directly from here. So open, then dot slash, then tutorial. Okay. So yeah, this is what we had now. So I don't want this. I'm gonna take this over to this place. So the main.c, it's in home, mint, and tutorial. So this is the file we are dealing with. So inside this file is the main.c file we just created. So we're gonna be working on this file. So I'm gonna open that file with vim. So we're going to be writing our code inside this file we have here. So we're gonna be writing our code. So now writing the code, we'll start with vim, then the name of the file. To open it, main.c, which is the name of the file, and we are inside. Now next thing we're going to do is based on the fact that I'm using vim, so I'm going to click I for inside mode. So actually I do have Visual Studio Code over here, but I don't want to use that. I just want to work on the terminal. Kind of used to it, not used to it, right? Okay, so now this is our environment where we'll start typing our code. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to type this stuff we have here. So I'm going to explain what it is. Include. So the basic library that I'm going to include is stdio.h. Kind of close that. So now let me explain this part. Now in C programming we have what is called header, and this header is being read by the preprocessor. So it is otherwise known as preprocessor command. Yeah, it is known as preprocessor command, but to make things simple, this simply means including a library or including a file. So this is used to include a file. So maybe we have another file, maybe there's another file I've created apart from this main.c, and I want to add it to this code. I want it to affect this code. I want it to I want to see the effect on this code. So maybe if I code a function there, I want the function to be able to be applicable in my C file, then I'm going to use the include. So now whatever you see with the greater than symbol simply means that it is internal. The library inside here is internal library. I'm not including file created by me. This is already there on the system, so I'm just using what we have there on the system. So we use a greater than sign, then std stand for standard, then I stand for input, O stand for output, dot h. Dot h simply means it is a header file, so that's the extension dot h. So let's go over. So the next thing is as Betty code is concerned, because you might go through over one of my videos on Betty code. So we talk about writing of comments, which is also a good practice, so people know what you're doing. So you write comment. So I'm gonna write comment main, then main, that main, I'm gonna say this is a basic function. So this is a basic function. That's very important. So the next thing is I'm gonna write for the return. So return. So I'm gonna put always terminates the function and returns 0. Okay, so I'm gonna hit enter, then I'm gonna close it there. So now let me tell you, all these things are known as comments. They are known as comments. So I put slash dot dot, then I just hit enter, and all this stuff here are known as comments. And the compiler doesn't compile this, the preprocessor doesn't read this. So it's just like a comment to us. So it's just like, for instance, I'm creating something or I'm writing about something, so I put a comment there so that someone will know that this is what it's all about. Or I'm creating a video and I put a comment there to say, oh, this video belongs to C programming. So it's just a comment. It does not have anything to do with the video. So I can create a video and someone can comment on it. Doesn't mean that that comment has anything to do it won't affect my video, it won't affect the quality of my video, it won't add anything or subtract anything from my video. So that's how comment is. So this is just a comment. It does not run on the computer, it does not affect any code on the computer. It's just like you reading it, knowing. So in case maybe another person might want to go through your codes and yeah, he saw this comment, I say, okay, wherever I see main, I know that it is a basic function, and whenever I see return, it always terminates the function and returns 0. So it's just a comment, does not have any meaning. So now in every C programming, we have what's the main function, which we have write about, or which we have discussed on our comment section. So we always have what is called a main function. And what is a main function? A main function is the a box where every other code or every other function is being executed. So it's just like the brain of every other thing you are doing. So it's a box that always executes your code. So it is known as a main function. And to writing a main function, you put in the int like this. Then the next thing is int stands for integer. You put the name main function, so you put main like that. Then you put your what's it called, bracket, which receives parameter. So later on I'll tell you what parameter stands for. So I'm gonna go back here and put curly braces. So I'm gonna explain everything so you guys understand. So starting from this point, we have here int and main function. So this is the int, is used to call the function, and this main over here is the name of the function. So I might not decide to call it main, but based on the fact this is the main function, I'll always leave it there as main. So what we have here is main, so which is supposed to be so. Now we have in this our main. If you look over, you see these brackets, open and close bracket we have here. That simply means that it receives a parameter. So it has what we call a parameter. So this parameter receive argument externally, so I can decide to call something upstairs and pass the parameter, especially if I want to receive, or if the functions want to receive anything from an external source. So you can pass it through the parameter, but our function is not receiving anything, so we are going to leave it as void. So it's going to be void like that. So it's a good practice to put void there. If you are not putting anything there, you are not running anything, so it's the best practice to put void. People decide to leave it like this, so it's okay, it's fine, your code still runs, it still works, but it's a good practice to use void. Now this curly braces is where your code is executed. So anything in between these curly braces, let me see whether I can zoom more than this to make it more bigger. View, zoom in, okay, zoom in again. So now you can see these curly braces. It simply means that all the codes that are going to be running is going to be inside this. All the codes that are going to be executed, codes that are going to run, are going to be here. So even though I call any other function without passing the function here, that function will never work, that function will never run, except it's inside this main function. So every damn thing must be inside this function. So I'm gonna write a simple this thing. So there's other things that we also call function. We also refer them to as function. They are known as built-in function, and this built-in function is a result of this studio.h we have here. So is the built-in function. So this standard input output has other functions that are attached to it that we have included. So we're able to use functions such as printf. So if I say print printf, so if I say printf, I can use functions like that to print stuff to the screen of my this thing. I can use functions such as put. So put like this. But okay, let me arrange my code. So, okay, so I can use functions as put. I can also use functions as putchar. So we have putchar and all those stuff based on the fact that I have included it here. But if this is not included, all these functions are not going to run. All these functions will not work, because is as a result, all these functions as a result of including this stuff here. So they are built-in functions, so you can call it built-in function. So I'm gonna be using printf. So you see what I'm doing. So printf. So I'm gonna write a simple hello wasting. So I'm gonna say hello wasting. So hello wasting, and I'm gonna put stuff like exclamation mark there. So now this is the function, and this function prints stuff to the screen. And again, in every of your code or every block of code you have written, you put a semicolon. A semicolon, what does a semicolon does? It simply ends your statement. Tell me that yes, I'm done with whatever I'm gonna print out to the screen. So end the statement, I want to go over to something else. So without putting that, you're gonna receive an error. So you always need to end your statement with a semicolon like this. Yeah. So the next thing is I'm gonna return that. I'm gonna return that. So return I want to return 0 if this code successfully executes. Then I'm gonna close that. Now you can see what we have here. So you can decide to put it this way, like this. Actually it still works, but for as far basic coding style is concerned, you need to put it in a bracket like this. So this. So you're gonna put it like this. So whenever this code runs, the next thing that I want to run is the return statement, and when it returns, the code will breaks. So I'm gonna explain what this return does. The return ends or terminates the function. So anything after this return does not run. So let's do that now. Before we proceed, I want you to take note of this. Printf. For printf to look good on your screen, you always need to add a new line, because without a new line it will affect your terminal. So let us just run it this way. So a new line is always important, so I'm gonna run it this way. Then when we come next, we are gonna add a new line to it too, to see how it looks like. So let's get started. So I'm gonna escape this. So having escaped this, I'm gonna save and quit. So now I'm gonna compile my code. So now you can see, after I've saved it, you can see what have happened. This icon have changed, you see. So it's sensing that, yeah, this is a C file. It's not just an ordinary file, it's a C file. So I'm gonna put it this way. So we have gcc, then the code main, then .c. So when I do gcc, what it does is, based on what I said in my previous video, it do the pre-processing. That is going to check the header file, it's going to assemble our code. Then the next thing it's going to do is going to compile and give out the correct result or whatever we're looking for. But actually, when we do GCC like this, a new file is being created. And what does this file do? This file is an executable file. You have the ability to execute this file, and this file is it compiles. So if you view what is inside this file, you'll see a bunch of rubbish inside. So let's do that. Now you can see, as I hit enter, this is a compiled file that has been created, which is a.out. Now this a.out we have here is a compiled file that, if I run it, we expect to see a printout of what we have done. So to run this code, you're gonna put let us list it. So you see we have the same thing too here. So you can see it's highlighted with a green color. That means its execution permission is being granted to it. So this one you can't execute it. If you try to execute, it's gonna throw an error, but we can execute this. So let's execute that. So to execute, you put dot, then slash, then you put a, then dot out, which is the name of the file. So when I hit enter, you see we have hello Wistin, but you can see what we have in here, because I did not give it a new line. It's continued from there, and we have our continuation of our terminal, which is not supposed to be so. So you can see that. But if, for instance, I go back to my code, then I add a new line. So in adding a new line is just known as a flag. So I'm gonna add a new line, backslash, then n. Then I'm gonna escape. Then I'm gonna save this. So I'm gonna save this. So you see what we have here on the screen. So saving this, I'm gonna compile it again. So use gcc main.c. Then I'm gonna hit enter. So yeah, then next I'm gonna run it again. So I'm gonna put ./a.out. So I'm gonna hit enter. So you can see it looks nice. Now you can see this is on a straight line, which also affects this, but this is hello Wistin. Then a new line is being given, then this comes to the next line, and I think this is okay. So that's one of the important of a new line. Now, what does this A dot out stands for? A simply stands for assembling, then dot out is the output. So assembling output or assembly output, whatever whichever way you put it. So that's it. So thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next video. So good then.